with our standing posture. Before you even think about the structure, just draw the mind inside. What does that mean? Feel the sensation of the body. Let your awareness rest with exactly what you're experiencing in your body. Probably pressures in the feet as they hit the ground, maybe tensions in certain parts. And it's those sensations of pressures that give us a clue how we can change our body and let it be softer in those areas. As we soften the body, we can also elongate the body upwards. And an indication that we're released on the inside is given by the weight of the feet on the ground. When we sink through the body, we don't need to go down, but when we sink on the inside, when we soften the muscles on the inside, you feel the feet connecting more strongly on the ground. We're plucking the chest, we're slightly withdrawing the chin, raising the back of the head, raising the spirit of attention and quietening there. Listening inside, maybe it's in and around the hips, maybe it's the lower back, maybe it's the shoulders or the neck. Maybe we're tight in the face, areas where we feel we can release. And then we open up into parallel by sinking downwards, releasing to the right foot, turning as we move across, and turning back and settling once more. And if everything's finished, then start the movement again. Doesn't matter how low or how high we go, just enough to feel the light stretch and release. But let everything finish. Then move on. So, two things. In the going down, we're bending the knees, we're seating the hips, we're opening the lower back, and we're settling into a new position. This is the low position. In the form, this is when we come into posture, we sink and bend the knees, we come into the posture. This is the low position. So in this exercise, we're going down into our low position. We're taking the body to a different height. I'm exaggerating here, but we're dropping. At the same time, on the inside, we're sinking. Now, sinking doesn't matter about the height. It's dropping on the inside of the body, and you'll feel the foot pressure increase when you sink. All the muscles release, and you feel the feet spreading and pressing onto the ground. We want to combine these two things as we drop downwards. So let's do this exercise from the beginning of the form. And first of all, we'll do it 3 times without any sinking on the inside. So literally just physically folding the knees, folding the hips, relaxing the lower back. Literally just doing it in a way that's very physical. And I want you to feel your feet on the ground. It should feel like there isn't much pressure increase in your feet. If you simply go down, simply lower yourself. almost like you're sinking into mud. There's no bottom to it. You just keep going down, keep going down, keep going down, and the foot pressure doesn't increase. Okay, now we'll do the same exercise, but we won't lower ourselves. We'll just sink on the inside. So the hands come up and then just sinking, softening the feet, softening the ankles, softening the thighs, softening the lower back, the abdomen, the chest, and the shoulders. And I want you to feel how you feel more compressed onto the ground. You haven't really gone down, but you've changed the muscle quality inside, and the feet feel much more firmly established on the ground. We're not looking to bend the knees with this one. We're just simply looking to release on the inside. And one more. Soften the legs. Soften the hips. Soften the abdomen, the chest, and the shoulders. Okay. Now we want to combine both. So when we don't move down, when we simply release on the inside, we feel strong foot pressures change. The foot pressure changes. When we take ourselves downwards, we don't feel so much foot pressure. When we do both, it's a combination of the two. The foot feels connected, but also we're taking some of that pressure away by sinking down. We come up and we try and go downwards at the same rate that we release down on the inside. We use the legs to come up. We use the legs to take us down, but we're also sinking on the inside. And the result is we feel very stable, connected. In the form we use this, especially, in the form we use this, when we sit back, for example, when we sit back here from the postural push, I'm not going down. I'm going straight back, but I'm sinking on the inside. When I go down, say from some press, I sit back, I'm not going down. I move in, now I'm going down and sinking. And then a small push and coming up. So from the press, when you sit back, you're not lowering yourself down. You're not low. If you lower yourself down and lower yourself down again, you'll be too low down. So here we go straight back, the hips are level, and you go straight back. As we do that, we're sinking on the inside. We sink on the inside. So we're connected, we've released, but we haven't gone down to our lowest posture. So we sit back in a straight line. Now when I move in, I go down and continue sinking. So this posture is the low posture. We've got the working posture, which is our normal height, where we go forward and backwards. And then we've got our low posture, where we sink and bend the knees down to a different height in order to expand and push. And I want to talk a little bit about that expansion and pushing in the center of each posture tonight. Let's do a few more exercises and we'll come back to that as we go through the class. First loosening exercise, the feet parallel, outside edges of the feet engaged, lifting up. This is my normal height, my normal working height. And I'm sinking down to my lowest height. And I'm coming up, my normal height, and releasing to the lowest height. So you can see here, I'm both bending the knee, sinking on the inside, and there's a turn with this one as well. But I'm coming down to a lower height, and I'm coming up, corkscrewing up, and corkscrewing down. Corkscrewing up, square at the front and accurate where the arms are, and releasing and bending the knee, corkscrewing down, corkscrewing up and down. We want to acknowledge the foot pressure, the low position, and the normal position. They're about an inch apart, maybe 3 centimeters apart. So if my head is at the top of the screen here, when I go down, you can see my head is below the top of the screen. When I come up, I'm coming up to the top of the screen and going down here. What enables us to be stable here is the accurate releasing and changing of the muscles. And the stability comes from the sinking on the inside of the body. The stability doesn't come from lowering myself. Lowering my center of gravity doesn't make me stable. The muscle changes and the release of the muscles is what makes the body receive its own weight, press into itself, and stabilizes itself on the ground. The turning and the lowering of the body, we try to ensure that the turning and the lowering of the body doesn't destabilize me. So every centimeter of movement is increasing that stability. So you have to explore the exercise. So you're not just moving across and ending up tight in the ankle. You don't want to arrive and complete the exercise. You want to feel the process of how you sink, how you stabilize, and how you arrive. The result comes from the process. The result comes from what you do en route. So it's like, you know, when you drive a car and you know you've got quite a long journey, how you are with the process of the journey, how often you stop, how fast you go, how much of an anticipation you are of getting there, determine how it is you arrive. You know, you can drive and be really stressed by the end of a long journey, or treat it like a road trip and stop a few times and really enjoy the process of the drive. Same with any processes we have. And this process from here to here is a 3-second process. And how we are with feeling the body and organizing the body determines how we arrive. It's 3 more. And closing up. The second loosening exercise. Same thing. We're lowering the knees. We're dropping to our lowest posture over 4 swings of the arms. So we're combining the dropping of the body with the releasing inside the body. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the result is I feel very connected in the feet. Feet spread and pressed onto the ground. The outside edge is connected. And then coming up, use the legs. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thinking. In the inside of the body, the muscles are releasing on the way down. And on the way up, as the legs activate, I'm also softening the muscles. So as the legs push up, there's force in the legs. I'm softening the abdomen onto the legs. As the torso lifts, I'm softening the shoulders onto the torso. So I'm keeping the body connected as if it's being lifted from below. not being pushed up, not tightening up the upper body and lifting it. I'm waiting for the force of the lift to come up through the body, and I'm staying connected to it. It's like a bubble coming up through water. The water is pushed out of the way by the bubble. The bubble is the force of the legs coming up through the body. The body doesn't run away from it. Outside edges of the feet connect. Body stays upright, and you're working between your normal working height and your lowest position. So with this one, there's a tendency to go too low. Because it's 4 long swings of the arms, there's a tendency to end up too low, just to your lowest position, just between your working position, which is the working position of the form postures, finish of the posture, and the sinking before the finish of the posture. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming up, use the legs. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can bring the mind or the awareness through the body downwards as you sink and under the feet. As you come up, you can take the mind under the feet and bring it up through the legs, up through the torso, up to the crown of the head and out to the fingertips. So you're drawing in as you go down and you're rising up as you come up. So it's like a waterfall on the way down, like a waterfall on the way down, and like a fountain on the way up. Let's just try that a few times. A waterfall on the way down, and a fountain on the way up. Settle down. Third loosening exercise. The third loosening exercise is done at the working height. You're not at your lowest height, you're at your working height, and you don't go up and down. You just simply turn around the core. So the turning with the hips is from side to side, but you don't move the mass of the body over the leg. So you're turning this way. If I put my hands on the center line, you can see I'm turning this way and I'm turning this way. My hands haven't moved. They're turning one way and they're turning another. It's just like a tick-tock going back. You remember those clocks you used to get with 3 balls at the bottom, and they'd go one way, then they'd go the other way. And your hips are just going one way and then the other way. And the muscles soften to allow the movement to take place. So your hips are folding. On one side, your hip joint is folding and the other side is opening, and then folding and opening. So your hips are doing this. Your muscles that enable you to move are changing. And keep the hips really sunk and soft. You can even keep your fingers there, because there should be no pushing back. You shouldn't feel tension in here, pushing back. You should feel very soft, drawing back as you fold the hip, drawing back as you fold the hip, drawing back as you fold the hip. See, I'm staying on the same level. I'm not going down or up. And as this hip goes back, I'm sinking in this leg, and my opposite arm is coming out. Turn back, square, Start to drop this arm. The other arm comes out. The arm arrives on the center line at the same time as my turning finishes. Square, sink, drop the arm. The other arm comes out and finishes at the top at the same time that my turning finishes. Now, the secret with this one is that we are not going downwards, we're not bending the knees to go down, but we are sinking on the inside with this one. We're sinking on the inside. So that means that the foot pressure gets stronger when I go this way. I get this leg becomes more substantial. We call it substantial because it's connected to the balancing force of the body. The center of gravity is connected to this leg more than this one. This one is substantial, this one's insubstantial. Then when I turn and transfer, this leg becomes substantial and this one becomes insubstantial. So there's this movement where my foot pressure increases, my foot pressure increases, my foot pressure increases, my foot pressure increases. Go. I know there's a lot to get right and think about, but try and feel it and pay much more focus from center of the body downwards than what the arms are doing. So if the arms go wrong, what the hell? You're only paying 20% attention to the arms anyway. But really try and get the movement through the legs as accurate as you can. So you really feel your stability generated in each leg by sinking. Sinking means softening the hips, opening the lower back. And if you want, you can do it without, while you're focusing more strongly on the base, you can do it without the arms. Fine to do it without the arms while you're just mainly focusing on the base. And if you get lost or can't remember which leg should be sinking and which arm should be lifting, just stop, center yourself, start again by sinking the base. The substantial leg, find one leg more substantial than the other. It's the opposite arm that comes up. You're turning towards the substantial leg. The opposite arm comes forwards. And the way the arms lift are exactly the same as the beginning of the form. So you lift the arm up, you actually lift the wrist up, the fingers hang, and the fingers, like a big, thick paintbrush. Imagine a paintbrush, and you're going to paint with it. You dip it in the paint, you dip it in the paint, you lift it up, and by dropping the elbow, you let the paintbrush slide. By dropping the elbow, dropping the shoulder, elbow, you let the paintbrush slide. So the wrist starts to sit here and continues sitting all the way down this way. And this hand movement isn't because you move the hand up, it's because the wrist moves down. The wrist moves down, and it looks like that movement happens in the hand, and it does, but it doesn't happen by the wrist being still and the hand lifting. It happens because the wrist is dropping, and the back of the hand paints as well. The back of the hand paints, and then the front of the hand paints. The whole hand is like a paintbrush. And where do we see this movement in the form? Well, brush left knee, move forward, not there, not there, ward off right, ward off right. Front leg is forward this time, I'm not parallel, but here I turn the hip and sink into the front leg. And the force comes out of the back hand, the opposite hand. This movement, this movement. I'm not lowering myself, I'm staying on the same height. I'm sinking to the front leg, which becomes the substantial. I'm softening and closing the front hip. The body's turning this way and the force is in the opposite hand. Here. This movement. While I'm turning, the hand is dropping. Turn back, sit back, stay square, open up. Return square. Moving. Now I'm dropping lower. And now I'm rising as I press. And that's what I want to look at for the next few minutes. Good. I'm going to explain a few things, and please unmute if you want a further explanation. When I sit back, I'm on the same height. I'm working height. I've got the lower height to get to as I go forwards. As I go forwards, my hands separate. The hands separate as I come forwards because I'm sinking. I'm sinking here through the body. The whole body is dropping into the middle. This is my lowest position. I want to rise back up to push. Very small expansion of the back leg, which comes through to the fingertips. So if you look at my back leg, when I sit back, I'm the same height. When I move in, I'm lower. When I issue, back leg expands, and the same amount of force that comes here trickles forward. So the back knee opens by an inch, the fingers go out by an inch. So I want to convert the force of my back leg into my hands. I want that to move through the body to my fingertips. And we have, well, let's say that's difficult to do because the tendency is to push with the hands. So we have training stages to make sure that when I have an intention to push, I feel it come from the leg, not reaching out to push with the hands. Not locking the body and pushing with the hands, but softening the body and letting the back leg expand. So the first stage is to, when I sink in, when I go from the back foot into the 50-50, is to make sure I'm dropping downwards an inch. This is the first stage. And we call this a loaded posture. What does that mean? That means the force has been gathered mainly in the back leg. I've got 55% weight in the back leg and 45% weight in front leg, and I'm loaded. My center line is between the legs, right in the middle, and my back knee bent. Ready for a small push into the ground with the heel, and the back leg opens up to the working height. Let's do this from ward off right, fold, sit back, stay at the same height and draw back. Sink on the inside, make sure you're nice and stable before you turn. Find your alignment. Balanced on one leg, Turn around that axis and lift the arm. The arm finishes at the top when the turning finishes. Turn back, the arm arrives 1 fist from the ear when the turning of the waist turns back. So this is like a door opening and closing. Opening and closing with all the weight on the back leg. Look at my back knee, it doesn't do this. No Elvis Presley, please. Turning is in the hips, so the leg stays stable. Open and back. Put most of your focus on what the hips are doing because they guide the movement and enable you to stay stable. And the hand and shoulder follow that movement. So the timing of the hand and the movement of the arm and the shoulder follow what you do in the hips. So you draw back, staying at the same height, turn open, staying at the same height, turn close, staying at the same height. Now, all my weight's still on the back leg. I'll do it this way. I'm going to move in. This is when I bend my knees and I sink on the inside. The bow posture. It's like there's a string from my foot right up to my chest, like a bow that I'm drawing. So there's like a stretch almost from my foot right through the whole body. I want to release that stretch. So from a simple point of view, all I do is I expand the back knee and let the hands go out. I draw back, I stay on the same height, but sink on the inside. Make sure I'm nice and stable on the back foot. Now I drop down. Sinking on the inside and lowering myself. 55 in the back leg, 45 in the front. Expand the back leg and let your fingers out. Here, I'm coming up that inch, coming up that inch. And my weight is going slightly more to the front foot to allow the back leg to expand. Coming out to the fingers. Sit back, don't go down, just sit back straight. Turn, don't go down. Turn, don't go down. Turn, don't go down. Stay on the same height. Turn, stay on the same height. Draw the foot in. Step out. Don't go down. Move into the center. Square. Now sink and lower yourself. And the back leg expands through to both hands. Have a go on that little section. Because we know that section really well, it makes it easier to add something that's just a little bit newish, new to some of you, not to all of you, but enables you to really find it in a sequence you know well. So have a go. Let's do it together. Do it facing 3 o'clock from ward of right. Then after this, we'll look at the new postures. Turn to the corner. Turn back to 3 o'clock. Stay on the same level and sit back. Sinking on the inside. As you turn the hips, the arm goes out. As you turn back, it folds. Facing 3 o'clock. Lower the body and sink on the inside to both feet. Both feet. Expand the back knee, press. Coming up slightly. Now you're on the working height. Sit back and stay level, sinking on the inside. Now lower yourself. 55 in the back, 45 in the front, and expand the back knee, pushing with the fingers coming up slightly. Stay on that level and sit back. Turn. Stay on that level and pass the weight to the right. Stay on that level, drop the left hand underneath, holding the hook with the right. Stay on that level, turn, lift the left fingers to the right wrist, drawing the left foot, step behind, Left foot facing 9 o'clock, move into the center, stay on that level. When you're square, finally sink and drop. And expand the back leg, coming up slightly and expanding to both arms. One more time, please. Ward off, right. Sorry, I've got the wrong foot forward. Ward off right, facing 3 o'clock. Soften the front hip and sink. Stay on the same level. Stay on the same level. Stay on the same level, turn open. Stay on the same level, turn closed. Stay on the level, now sink and drop down an inch. Expand the back leg and press, coming up slightly. Now the weight is 55 in the front and 45 in the back. Sit back, stay on the level. Move in and drop lower. The weight's 55 on the back, 45 in the front. Expand the back knee and transfer the weight to the front foot. Pushing out an inch with the fingertips. Draw back, stay on the level, sinking. Turn. Turn. Turn back. Stay on the level. Turn to the front, lift the left fingers. Step with the left heel. Move in, stay on the level. Square, stay on the level. Sink 55 in the back foot. Expand the back leg. Single whip. Okay. Well, before we look at the postures of the form, good, we've got more than 20 minutes. I just wanted to ask if anyone's got any questions regarding any of that we've done in terms of body height or what goes on, or if this is new to you, or if it makes sense. If it makes sense, fine. Then it's just a matter of practicing it and seeing what you feel. But I want to make sure there's clarity in my sharing of it so you know what to do if you were to practice it. I can see a thumb.
Yeah.
Thumb means yes, that's fine.
That little release in the end at single whip, is that only crosswise or also the arm that is extended?
Yeah, both arms.
Oh, so they do both.
Both shoulders soften,
Mm-hmm.
both arms expand.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So normally the expansion is cross-aligned through the body. So that means when the left leg expands the right hand. But what you're doing in single whip is you're expanding the back leg, which moves this hand because that's opposite, and you're sinking onto the front, which is this one. So the back leg first, and as you sink onto the front, the hook. So both hands are active because both legs are alive and fluid, and the force is going this way as you issue. First through this hand, and then through this one, but sort of at the same time. It's a process of learning, and it makes a lot more sense when you do partner work because you can feel the forces and how the push is actually used. You can feel if it has an effect on the partner. If you're sinking makes your partner feel ungrounded, you've got more of a feedback mechanism when you work with a partner.
Well, thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, the moment you've been waiting for, the new moves. Let's go from cross hands. Feet parallel, weights in both. The hands are crossed in a nice round circle at the height of the throat. Both palms face you, and you want to make sure that when you're in this position, the shoulders are not forward. So you're not round in the back. You're nice and shoulders vertical above the side of the body, so they're sitting in their sockets. So when you put the arms out, don't reach out with the elbows because this will pull the shoulders, make tension through here. You want the shoulders down. and connected. So the whole body feels connected, and then you just let the arms lift rather than this one. Dropping onto the right foot, turning and sinking. So you're not really lowering here. Maybe a little bit, but you're not really going down to a lower working height. You're just turning. Turn back. Throw out the left arm. Sit away from the right and fold the left. Draw in the right toes. Turn the hips and steps to 4:30. Move into 50-50. Square to 4:30. Now you're sinking down and expanding as you turn to the corner. The hands turn round a ball as you square back to 4:30. So the right hand, which is parallel with your thigh and low, comes up. The hands are on the center line of the body, and when they turn over, they stay on the center line of the body. So it's like driving a bus, turning a wheel here. And that movement is done as you square. So you've gone 4:30 is the posture. You turn to 5 o'clock, and then you turn back 4:30. Then it's the moves we know. You sit back square, weights in the back foot, facing 4:30, turn open, turn back, move in, sinking, press. Draw back, stay on the same level. Hands separate as you come forwards because the body's sinking. The shoulders drop and the elbows drop. And lowest position and small expansion. Sit away from the fingers, stay on the level, turn. Turn. Turn back and drop the left hand underneath. The hands here are on the center line of the body. In this position, if you let go of this, it would drop into your hand below. Catch it here. It's facing 12 o'clock. Turn and your left fingers come up. Step out to 10:30. Move into the center away from the hook. Sink and expand. So this is the posture of single whip, but now it's the same posture. Front foot is ahead, hips are ahead, left hand in the push position, right hand out to the side. Single whip, but it's facing 10:30. From 10:30, leave the hands behind. The left hand turns over, palm up. So by the time you arrive on the back foot, the left hand is turned over. The right hand, which was a hook, is released. But can you see it's staying in the same place? See that line behind? When I sit away from it, it doesn't come with me. It stays where it is. And the left hand there. So now the hands are on that line. So when I turn my waist, the hands are moving like clouds.
Lou?
Yeah.
So this hand is here with the hook.
Yeah.
So does it, when you move back, does this arm move? Does it stay?
No, imagine someone's just gently holding your wrist.
To the side?
Wherever it is.
Okay.
Right? Imagine wherever your hook hand is, right?
Okay.
Someone's gently holding your wrist and you let them keep that same pressure on your wrist as you sit away from it.
Okay, so the arm's not coming forward towards.
No, there's no real movement. Then, well, you know, there may be a little bit of movement in the arm, but there isn't. You're not doing anything with the arm.
Okay.
Right, you're letting your arms be like a silk scarf. So they're kind of like unfurling, and then when you move, they're they're loose and move with you. So here, the hands have got a little bit of structure in them. What we want to do is release that structure and let them be really watery. Okay, so it's more a case of letting that structured tension that's in the arm go, so that they can travel with the body much more freely. Remember that exercise we did, this one? That's the sort of feeling we want. When we turn the hips, the shoulders and arms go with it. So let's go from 10:30, single whip with the left foot forwards, hips facing 10:30, single whip. Sit back, turn the left hand over, release the right. Turn clockwise. All the weight is on the right foot. There'll be a certain place where you don't want to turn anymore because you can feel some kind of like winding up an elastic band in the hip. You don't want to go beyond that. You just want to get to the place where it wants to start to go back to anti-clockwise, and you follow it back. You turn back, you step left, you move on to your left foot, you step right, you move on to your right foot, and you drop the hands, coming onto the right foot with just the ball of the left in place. So you let the left heel peel off the ground and let the left ball of the foot pivot as the body turns to finish facing 8 o'clock. My hips are now facing 8 o'clock. So let's do that again. Let's go from cross hands. Find the right foot, release to it. Turn open. Stay on the right foot, feel that axis, there's no weight in the left. As you turn, the left heel comes, the left toes come in, the left arm lifts, and the left arm finishes facing about 1 o'clock. Continue turning as you move onto the left foot, sitting away from the right hand and letting the left fold in. Now I'm facing about something like about 2:30. Draw the right toes in. Now I'm facing about 3 o'clock. Step out to 4:30 with the heel of the right. Move in 50-50 weight. Turn the waist, sinking in, lowering yourself, squaring to 4:30, and a small expansion of the back leg takes you to 5 o'clock. Turn back to 4:30, the hands turn over. Sit back, staying on the same level. Hand to the abdomen. Drop the hand to the hip joint as you turn open. Turn back, all the weight on the back foot. Sink as you move in, but lower the body. Small expansion into press. Sit back, stay on the same level. Hands long. Move in, sinking, lowering to push position. Small expansion of the back leg to the fingertips, push. Stay on that level, sit back. Turn. Keep turning as you move the weight to the right foot. Find that axis over the right, turn back, drop the left hand underneath. Turn clockwise, anti-clockwise, lift the left fingers. Draw in the left toes, step out to 10:30. Move into the center, square to 10:30, sink and drop lower and expand into single whip. Taoist Immortal flap sleeves, sit back away from the hands, the left palm up, the right releases. Turn clockwise, all your weight in the right. Turn back anti-clockwise, step left. Move on to the left foot, still stepping. Let the right heel peel. Step with the right heel to 10:30. Move on to the right foot. As the weight goes to the right foot, let the left heel peel. Drop all the weight to the right turn to 8 o'clock and drop the hands. No weight in the left. I hope that's the same as we did last week. And ring some bells. Any questions with that move? Okay, good. Have a look at the next little bit just to finish off that sequence. So we've come, I'm going to do it facing you. I've come around with my weight in the right foot. There's no weight in the heel or the ball, but the ball of the left foot is on the ground and I've dropped the hands. The hands are in front of the center of the body. They're not off to the side. They look like they are, but they're not. They're in front of, because the body's turning, my hands are in front of the center. And as I finish my turn, all my weight is in the right foot. As I finish my turn, the hands finish. The next move is called jab. I'm going to scoop with my left hand and strike to the corner. This is like I'm going around something and jabbing. Okay, so it's quite a strong posture. There's structure to the hand, which is straight, and it's coming up from below and striking to the throat or to the pressure points under the arm. I start off facing with my, have a look first. I start with my weight. My right foot is facing 10:30. I'm facing 8 o'clock. All the weight is in the right. Stay on the right foot. Turn and jab. Facing 10:30. My left hand slides over my right wrist. Sometimes it's done this way. More often it's done this way. So I'll keep it this way for now. And it's onto the center line. Jab. It's quite strong. I'm sinking at the same time. Sink. Then from there, turn over. I'll do that move facing you so you can see. Turn and jab. And punch under elbow. Hands drop. Scoop. Jab. Punch under elbow. All that is done in the right leg. I'm turning to jab, and then I'm turning back to 9 o'clock. Punch under elbow. My left foot, just the heel of the left foot on the ground. Just the heel of the left foot. And the posture, punch under the elbow, the knuckle of the fist is on the elbow. This is the push position, and this is here. So it goes jab, punch under elbow, jab facing 10:30, jab, punch under elbow facing 9 o'clock. Let's just do that last little bit. Let's go from single whip, facing 10:30, single whip. Everything's to 10:30 today. Make sure your left foot is forward, your waist is facing 10:30. You feel nicely comfortable in both legs. Feel upright and released. Shoulders feel low and connected. Draw back the weight to the back foot, the hands long. Turn clockwise, all the weight in the right. Turn anti-clockwise, hands turn over, step left. Move on to the left foot, keep turning. Step right, keep turning. Move on to the right foot, turn to 8 o'clock and drop the hands. The left fingers are going to jab towards 10:30, upwards, palm up, scoop with the palm, upwards towards the throat. Both hands palm up. Then you're going to turn to face 9 o'clock, bring the left toes in, turn the hands over, push out the heel. So the left foot scoots in, the ball of the foot scoots in, and the heel pushes out. The left foot doesn't really leave the floor. It kind of glides along, the toes glide along the floor, then the heel glides along the floor. They keep contact with the ground. So have a look at that move again. I'm going to do it facing a different direction so you get to see a different view of it. I'll do it this way, facing here. Sit back, long in the arms, turn back, the hands start to sink, step left, step right, move on to the right foot and sink, hands in front of the body, turn and jab to 10:30, strike here with the fingers, strike, as you sink, strike, turn back, bring in the toes of the left, sink and push out the heel, punch under elbow. I'll do it one more time facing this way. Draw back, turn clockwise all the way to the right, turn anti-clockwise, step left, step right, sink onto the right foot, turn and jab, square, punch under elbow, not closed like this. Nice space under the arms, one span, so the arms aren't into the body, they're nice and round. Let's do it one more time together. Cross hands, please. Settle down, feel the outside edge of the feet, let your lower back hang. Return to that feeling of being settled in your body. Come into the head when we're thinking about new postures. Really return to that simple feeling of just being here and centered and letting all your weight pass through your body into the ground. Release and sink and turn. And back. Lift the left arm, sit away from the left, the right, fold in the left. Draw in the right toe. Turn and step to the corner, 4:30, move in. Sink. And turn back at 5:30, turn back at 5 o'clock. Turn back, the hands turn around the ball. Draw back, stay on the same level, turn open. Turn back, when you're facing 4:30, move in and press. Lower and rise up slightly as the back knee expands. Draw back, stay on the same level. Move in, lower the body and sink. Expand the back knee and push. Sit back, stay on the same level. Turn. Turn. Turn back. Turn anti-clockwise. Draw in the left foot, step out to 10:30. Sink and lower and expand the back knee. Single whip. Draw back, let the hand turn over and soften the right foot. Turn clockwise. Turn back, anti-clockwise. Step left. Move on to it immediately. Step right, move on to it immediately. And sink. The right foot is facing 10:30. The hands in front of the center of the body. You're going to scoot with the left hand over the right wrist. Both hands palm up. Strike. Turn to 9 o'clock. Bring in the left toes. Push out the left heel all the way to the right foot. Punch under elbow. The left hand in push position. The right knuckle of the right hand on the elbow. Punch under elbow. I think it's worth doing that last little move. And then even if you don't get it all completely this week, we'll go over it next week. But you'll have a chance to have a look at the video. I like the cat there. Fantastic. Cat's doing Tai Chi. Normally my dog's in doing Tai Chi with me. Not tonight. Good. Any thoughts before we leave it there? No thoughts. That's a very good sign after doing Tai Chi that there are no thoughts.
Well, only thinking that there's that little section into Embrace Tiger that feels a bit clunky.
Yeah, it will be for a number of weeks. Try and what I'd suggest is break it down into lots of little bits that you know. So do the first bit, drop the hands to the hips, make sure you've got each bit accurate and you've kind of thoroughly memorized it before you try and do the whole thing. But it's much better to say I'm going to do, one day I'm going to break it down into 6 or 7 little bits, and each day I'm just going to learn the next little bit that goes with it, rather than just getting confused for a whole week with the whole thing. Yeah, and even if that's over 3 or 4 weeks, it doesn't matter. The time frame doesn't matter. It's just how an easier way to learn it is to be really sure on the bit you know, rather than the whole lot be kind of all over the place. And it makes you feel better with it because you've got a sense of, yeah, I know that bit. That bit's fine. I don't need to know the next bit. So you don't give yourself a hard time. Yeah. Because you just say, oh, I haven't done that bit yet. In my mind, I've done it in the class. I haven't done it in my mind yet. I haven't committed myself to really learning it yet. It can stay kind of a bit wishy. And then just do the bits you know well. Great. Have a good week all. Thank you. And we will see you next week.